Hello friends, I am Mari Rolone. You are in my channel of everything in crochet, and today, I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful dress. Would like to know how to weave it? Join me from beginning to end to watch this video. We start. I am going to show you what are the materials that we are going to use to get started with this project. Today I am going to use this type of material, is number 2. And it is this material. In case you don't have it, don't worry, friend. Use any material you have near your home. And most importantly, that fits your nurse's needs. And I will also use this other type of material. Because it is the one I have at hand. Brings 273 yards 250 m 100G and this one. Let's see how much it contains 200. Here it has 244 yards 315 m. And on this occasion it also brings 100G. This one tells us that it is number 3. And this one tells us that it is number 2. Yes, then well, it seems to you. If we continue with 2.50 hook, we will need our scissors, equipment for wool or stamen, and it is very likely that we will use oxygen. For this one I am going to use this one. This decorative scissors. And friends there at home. This is, and you can find it at your grocery store. Online or in those fabric stores. So you decide, let's start. I am going to start here. Securing this first point. And I'm going to start knitting chains. To each his own. We'll knit the chains he needs. So I'm going to go ahead. The amount. And I will be back to recommend the ones you need. I want to show you friends. So far I have 71 points. Yes, I am going to give you an amount right now. And you're going to make him 1 point less. Now, I will tell you how we are going to make the last point. Let's start. 72 chains you are going to put 1 less, which would be 71. For newborn. In total there will be 72. 78 chains from 3 to 9 months. 84 chains from 9 to 18 months. 90 chains from 2 to 4 years old. 96 chains from 4 to 6 years old. 102 chains from 6 to 8 years old. 108 chains from 8 to 10 years old. And finally 114 chains between 10 and 12 years of age. This only applies if you are weaving it with a 2.5 hook and a thin number 2 wool. Remember it are already being woven from another material. If you have to select that that it remains or that it enters. This one by the little head of the person who you are going to knit it from. Okay, I already have the amount I need here. Now for the size I am weaving. I have 71 points and number 72. Remember I told them to make 1 point less. This is the last point. Uprising 1 2 3. And at this last point I held. Let's knit him there. The point would be point 71. And this is point number 72, yes. This is how we are going to do it, and then I'm going to move on to the next point. And I'm going to start knitting a high point. A high point. And a high point. So, and I'm going to do this. On this occasion up to 13 points. I'm going to tell you now about the other sizes. 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is going to be the back part. 7. We will be weaving a high stitch for each space 8. And 13 so far. Now we make 2 chains. I'm going to move on to the next point. And I will knit 13 high stitches. 1, 2 will be 1 for each space. 3. This part here is the part of the sleeve. Here I am going to knit 2 chains. And I'm going to move on to this point that follows. And now I'm going to start knitting. Let's start knitting the front part. For the front part 1, we'll leave 20 points for the front part. 1 and 2. And 20 there are. Two chains. I move on to the next point. And I'm going to start knitting high stitch. And we are going to make 13. These 13 are for the sleeve part. And we carry 3. We continue until we have 13, 4, 5. And now we make 2 chains. I'm going to move on to the next point. And I'm going to bring this little piece of strand to lose it at the same time that I'm weaving those high points. And start 1. And finally 13. And this one I'm going to pull from there of the cordoncito to accommodate. And once we have settled, let's throw a little bit and let's cut. And so we have been ready. Now let's do lap number 2. We make 2 chains. I turn this first point. I will not knit it because it is the equivalent of 2 1 chains. I'm going to move on to the next one and teju high point. High point, and look, we are going to weave a high point for each space until reaching. Where do I have the increase part? Look at the high point. The magnification part is where I have the chains. Now, want to know how we are going to distribute the other points? Okay, in another moment I will be passing them on to you. I'm going to get this far to where I have the space this of the high points. I'm going to pass by and I'm going to knit high stitch. 2 chains and high point. And in which it follows, we make the high point. Here I am making a point of increase. 2 chains and 1 point of increase. And I continue to weave 1 high point for each space until arriving again to the string space. And while I arrive in the space of the chains, let's see how much we will leave you. I'm going to start with the distribution. Let's do the following. For newborns is the ES. This size I am making. Here you will have this, which is going to be the opening where they are going to go here. The button part. Okay, there will be the little buttons. Then for this. Friends, let's do the following. Let's leave him here. $13, and here we are going to leave you 20. There it is then. I'm going to bring it a little closer. 13 for the back. 13 for sleeve. 13 for the front. 13 for the next sleeve and 13 for the back. Now we are going to go for this one, which is the 3 to 6 month old one. For this one I will leave 22 on the front side. And I will leave 14. And 14 for each sleeve. And here in the middle where the buttons go I am going to leave. And I'm going to spend this one, which is 9 to 18 months. I will leave you 24. For the front. 15 for the sleeve part. And I'm going to leave you 15. And 15 for the front. And now I'm going to move on to this one, which is 2 to 4 years old. In this one I am going to leave you 26 for the front part, 16. $17, which is 4 to 6 years old, and there will be 30. Now this one is from the 108. Let's leave him 32. I'm going to top it up 32, which is for the front side. Here it will be 1919. And finally, here they are going to be in this case. Let's see. We would leave 34. For the front. This is how it will look like. Yes, it would be the last size, which is 10 to 12 years old. If, for example, you are weaving with thicker wool, and I recommend that if you are at your best, weaving size 12, size 8 selections. Or if you are, or up to 6 o'clock depending on the thickness of your material, or if you are weaving for example a size from 2 to 4, selections to the best of 1918. Measure your little one's first turn. And if you don't use a smaller one, okay. Well then already. Now we know how much and how they will be. Distributions. Well, then here we are going to continue, do you think? Have you seen the distribution? And at this moment, friends, if you liked it, I left them for all sizes. Indications, then leave a like. For this video, I will thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support and his company. 1000 thanks, friends. To all the friends who are always present here, 1,000,000 thanks. I will continue here. I have already reached the increase part. I am going to knit a high stitch, 2 chains, and in the same space a high point. And then I stop by and we go knit him. Thus a high point, and I will continue to weave a high point until arriving again to the of the increase. And now we are going to see how this one will turn out, friends, because guess what? Oops, friends, we are not going to have to put the eyelets on him. That after this section of eyelets and buttons that we always deny because we have no left, or that it is smaller for us, larger than we put more or less points, or simply that we no longer want to do anything to him, to the rest of the dress, right? We want it to be like this quickly, simple. So guess which, friends, will not be necessary. With these amounts that I have just given them, it won't be necessary, and now you will see it. I have already reached the increase part. Here we knit the stitch, 2 chains, there again the high point, to be the part of the increases. And we continue to weave 1 high point for each space until we get back to the of increases. We got this far. I have come this far. And here I am going to knit it high, 2 chains and a high point. And I will continue to weave 1 high point for each space. We will be doing this, friends, turn after turn until obtaining the amount we need. For example, in my case, I think I'm going to do about 8 laps, approximately. And there at home, yes, depending on the size you will make a vueltita, yes, a vueltita maybe yes, I think a little turn will be enough. Or maybe 2, but I say with 1 per size will be more than enough, okay? Then look. Once you get here, you see I did here above the chain, I made the 0.12 chains. I turn this first point. I will not knit it, because it is the equivalent of the 2 chains. I move on to the next point, and weave a high point. At the following point, a high point, and so I will weave a high stitch for each space until we get back to the of increases. If you feel depressed knitting, de-stressed, you feel angry weaving, depressed knitting, if you feel stressed or a little upset, if you feel trying to weave, we are done, friends. Now you have already seen that it is, right, okay? Well, here we are going to do the same, a high point, 2 chains and a high point in the same space. And then since we have this part of the increase, now I move on to the next one and repeat again. And this until I complete my entire tour. I will complete the whole round. Let's remember, as soon as we make the increases, I have already finished my return and I've already started one more lap. 1 point for each space. And same process. When we get here, we make the high point. 2 chains. And in the same space 2 points. Here is a high point. And in which the high point follows. Yes, to have 2 points of increase. And we will repeat this. I had already told them turn after turn, and now let's do the following. I am going to put this one together with this one, which are the part of the increases. And I'm going to put it upside down like this, okay, like this. And then the other side. I am also going to put this one together with this. Here. This is going to be the button and eyelet area. Here we will be able to put them. Look why they cross. It is not necessary to add the button space. But here we put a little button and that's it. What do you think? Okay, I'm going to get ahead of what I need. And in a little while I'll be back. And a recommendation that I am going to leave to you friends. Always check below. In the description where it says the title. Below says more, click there. I will leave you links prior to this video. Or later on this occasion, this is the first video. But you will find yourself, those following. I am Mari Rolone, and remember, if you want me to leave you videos with indications for all sizes, then leave a like for me to see it. And I'll wait for you in the next video. Click on it and you will find them there. Thank you for your company. And until next time. I want to show you friends. Until this moment how much I have left. Remember that you are going to measure it. With a little shirt for her little ones. Look for the best sum to bleeda. That can guide them on the internet. I recommend you to do as I had told you. 1 more lap per size. Yes, 1 more lap then, for example I have left 1, 2, 7, 8 and 9 laps in total. I will try to make sure that we can appreciate it at home. To see in this way. There it is, look. This is how it will look like, and here in this part will go the little buttons. Yes, we will not have to do more. And here you can observe. And now we are going to measure it. So that they can also see. If you measure it from here. Downward measures 10 centimeters. Yes, then put it. 1 more lap per size. If I measure it from here in the corner, it measures 8 points. 5 centimeters, yes, it is from here, okay. Well, let's continue. For this I am going to cut here. In this part 1, make a little chain and I'm going to cut. I will leave it here pending. It's because I don't have the scissors at hand, but I am going to change the color to make the combination. I'm going to leave this one here. Now in my case friends, I have already cut. But I am going to place this as the right side. And this is the upside down side. I ended up on the upside down side, so I am going to return here. That's the right one, and I'm starting where the chain space is. Here I am going to start. I got the bow. I'm going to paint from above. To tie a knot, we make 2 chains and I pass the next point and continue knitting. And at the same time I will be losing the little piece of material. One high point for each space. Yes, there we go until we get to the part of the. In this case of the increase. I'm going to give it one more ride. Why I'm going to give him that little turnaround more? Because I want it around the cuff. I kept the line. Yes, then they're at home. How you are going to leave it? I continue. If you notice I am weaving 1 point for each space. I am about to get to the raises part, where I tell you will be the same process. Step. I can still leave it up to here. And I'm already cutting it on the inside part, here I pass the high point. 2 chains and high point, there it is. And I continue. With 1 for each space. Then you saw that it's going to be the same, okay? I will complete my entire tour. Once finished, this is how it will look like. Now we are going to cut. Now we have already cut, we are going to leave him 1 2 3 4 and at number 5. 1 2 3 4 and in number 5 I will pass on both sides. Step. And the strand upwards of the thread. There I will adjust. And I will knit 2 chains. And I'm going to go to the next point on one side. On the other side, and I'm going to weave high stitch. On the one hand. Of the other. And high point, and so on one side of the other. High point on one side. Of the other and high point. There it is like this. And this I am going to continue it. A high point. Look at the high point here, we are going to adjust the lanita, and I'm going to lose it until I get there. To the part of the sleeves we continue. High point and high point at home. How are you doing, my friend? Tell me, I'll be reading you. I want to show you, friends. I have come this far. So far as it is still open. The sleeve part. But now I'm going to do the following. I'm going to stop by here, Teju. A high point. I'm going to move on to the next chain. And then I'm going to leave. So far to the first chain. All this little piece, I'm not going to knit it. What I am going to do is pass next chain. Pass on the first chain. To gather there I will gather. And I'm going to do like this. 1 I close 1. And then I close the following 3. To close this point tightly. And then I'm going to go to the next point. And I reach a normal high point. And then the one following the normal high point. And so I will weave a high stitch for each space. This is how the sleeve part will look like. Yes, here. I will reach this space, because I will repeat the process. I show you I have already arrived again. To the next space, the first point. So I knit it normal. And the second one is where I'm going to join the first one. And we weave like this. A chain that is tight and then all 3. And I move on to the chain that follows. And we weave normal high stitch. And I continue weaving, and there is the next one formed. Manga, there it is. What do you think of the process of this project? Friends, it will be very easy for them. Here I continue to weave until I close. I want to show you, friends. I have already placed the buttons. See how beautiful it looks. It is no longer necessary to place anything else. I placed them every 3 turns, look at them. There it is, every 3 laps I passed 3 points. And that's it, and there I put the button. Yes, there too. There they are, okay. Well, let's make a straight pass, my friends. I don't have any other ribbon than this one, I've already looked for it. And I have colors a little bit stronger. But I have no colors. A little bit shorter, yes, then. For example, like this one I'm going to use, and it's rosewood. I'm going to leave you this one I have here. No way, they're in the house, I hope you can do it. Get something. And the next thing I'm going to do is to make a straight pass. I'm going to start here making a chain and a low period. And let's make him a chain. I'm going to move on to the next point and let's knit. So high point and a chain step. And in the one that follows we make a high point, and in the one that follows high point there is a chain. Pass a stitch without knitting, and where it follows high point and high point. It is necessary to see if this one passes the bar. Is wide enough, a Monty. So that I can pass my bar. If I'm not going to have to do an elongated high point, okay. Then there at home, look how it would look on me. I think it looks a little tight. This one is 1 centimeter 1.6. Then I'm going to return a little bit. I am still in time. There in the little house, look at it if it is a little wider. Here we put 2 chains. And then here we do an elongated high point, step 1. Step 2 and step 2, 1 chain. I pass a point without knitting, and where it follows, step 1, step 2, and step 2. Again step 1. Step 2 and step 2, 1 chain, step point without knitting. And I repeat 1 2 and 2. 1 2 and 2 chain. Step again 1 2 and 2 1 2 and 2 chain, again step. One 2 and 2 1 2 and 2. And now we are going to see if this is enough. Let's go through like this, look. Downward. And upward. There it is, look. Now he is not in such a hurry. Already means that this is the right size. Well, I'm going to do the passaliston, all the way back and forth. Once finished, the ribbon is passed. I had 1 point left. Look, I passed by here and here I had 1 left over. I made a high point and a point. A chain, and I'm going to start knitting here, low point. Low point. Low point and low point. 1 for each space. On the chain, low point on the high point. Low point on the chain, low point. About the chain. There is low point over the high point, low point. And point under 1 for each space to completion. Once this round is over, see how nice it looks. We will close here. In the first string with a dot, I make a chain and we cut. And we are going to change color. There at home, tell me about it. You are liking. I hope so. Let's then change color. Let's start in this part where we end up. I'm going to paint this bow of the strand at the top. We crossed it, trying to make the effect like a knot. And then we do a chain. And here in the same space I am going to knit a low stitch. Here I will try to adjust, and thus to accommodate it in order to lose it. I'm going to move on to the next point, and I'm going to make 3 high points, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to move on to the next point and I'll make a low point. I'm going to move on to the point that follows and teju. 3 high points, 1, 2. And 3, and at the next point we weave low point. This is how it will look like, and then we repeat. We move on to the next point and weave 1, 2 and 3 high points. And we make a point. Under this it must be repeated until the round is completed. Next point. 3 high points. And in which the low point follows. And we are going to lose these little pieces of material. I want to show you that I have already finished my return here. I am going to make the union here, in the first point, with a stitch, and here I am going to start knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 chains. I'm going to stop by here, in the same low point, and I'm going to knit it a high point. I will show you. Now let's stop by for 1. And in the middle, where is the point of the middle? Or the second point, we weave a low point. Happen to me where the low point is. And we weave high point. A chain and high point. Like this, and then I'm going to stop by a stitch without knitting. And in which half is the low point. Again we pass a point without weaving. And on the low point you high point. A chain and high point. There it is. And then I pass a point and there is half of it. Point under step 1 point and here point high. Chain and here high point. In the same space, I pass a stitch without knitting and let's knit the stitch down. Half of the 3 points. And we are going to do this until we complete the entire lap. This is lap number 2. And only this point is composed of 2 turns. So we will be repeating it. I am about to finish this round, which is lap number 2. I will stop by. I move to this space. Yes, and we are going to weave a low stitch. But at the same time this point, I'm going to pass a chain. And I'm going to stop by here. To weave make a low stitch. And to stick to me, both the part on one side and the part on the other side. Yes, these 2 little parts must be stuck together like this. And now I'm going to start here. Where I have the low point I am going to make 3 chains. To begin with, this is going to be my point. And here I am going to knit it a high point. I'm going to stop by here in the middle. Here where the chain space is. So let's start. I leave a low point. Happen to me where the low point is. And we weave 3, 1, 2. And 3, and now I'm going to spend half of it here. And you low point. Once again, I pass where the low point is and start knitting 1, 2. And 3, and then let's repeat it here again. There it is now. And now I pass here. Look at where that little chain is and I'll cut the low point. On the low point we repeat 1, 2 and 3. And about this one, which is like the V, is the chain there. Let's weave the low point. And I will do this until I complete my entire tour. We are doing lap number 1 again. Here I am about to finish, let's do here. I here in the middle of the low point. I make a high point where I started. And then I'm going to join here in the middle if you look at it. I got the point right in the middle of the 3. And that's where I start the next round. I start with a low point. I make the chain point low. And then I go to where the low point is. And you high point. A chain and high point. And then I pass in the middle. I pass this point and at the following point. Low point. I pass a point and where the low point is we weave. High chain point and my friends, it moves, there goes high point now, yes. And look, here you can already see more beautiful. Low point at half of the 3 points. Step point and over the low point. High point, a chain and high point. Then we are making a turn of simple fans. Here in the middle of the 3 dots we weave low dot. Step point and at the point under tile 1.1 single fan. Which is a high point. A chain, a high point. And I pass where the fan of 3 is. Step 1 and in the second. Low point, yes. And it's going to be all around. I will finish this round. I am going to accompany you one more time. But now you know how it will be, right? Nice, easy. Okay, here I am doing something else that is not there. Let's make a high point, a chain. A high point. And low point, complete turn. I am about to finish my return. Step 1. Here in the middle of the points I leave a low point. Step where the low point you is high point. A chain and high point. This is how we are going to finish the laps from now on. I'm going to move on to where the low point is. And I make a point, yes. And if you look at it, we start with a low point. And now what are we going to do? So here we make these 3 chains. We make a high point. I go halfway through where the simple fan is. I leave a low point. And this time I come to where the low point is. And on the low point, we weave the 3 high points. Happen to me where it is. The chain point low and over the chain point low. Three high points. And on the chain low point and so on. And when we finish, friends, let's put a pinnacle here like I did here. A high point here. And close with a stitch. Yes, and turn after turn until we get what we need. There at home, I already know what you're going to ask me. And how do I make it if I want it bigger? Okay, then if you want it bigger, here you are going to leave 2 chains. And instead of 3 points you will leave 5 points. And you are going to put half of the 5 points on the link, yes. That's for if you want it wider. I'm going to lead the way and I'll be back in a little while longer. I want to show you, friends, up to this point, how this dress has turned out. See, I already have the long one. You decide, my friend. The long one you are going to decide, okay. I will give them the measurements anyway, but we will continue. In this case, let's see how much the total length measures, okay. Total length has 36 centimeters, yes, from the chest part, which is this one, to the long part, okay. The pure darkness of pure white, okay. From the white downwards. Has 23, there is 23.5. If we measured it from where it went, sleeve separation would be 25.5 more or less okay. Then they're at home for you to take into account how wide I have left. I kept 40 about 80 centimeters in diameter approximately. Remember I had a scissors and I couldn't make it broader than that. Now at the top here. I know I'm going to be asked. On the top one I think I had already shown it I don't know if I have already had indicated, but I'm going to measure it again anyway. From here to here it measures 25.5. Would be 51 centimeters in diameter. What it measures, and in the neck part we will see how tall it is. In the neck part measures 10. There it is, look, I don't know if you can see it. 10 centimeters approximately, yes, then well I already have. See how nice it was and very easy it was, isn't it? And in the part below, I am not going to apply anything. See, it looks very nice. If you do not put the at the bottom, you will look super cool. And if you leave it on, it will also look nice on you. What I am going to do here is cut. I'm going to cut him. And we're going to lose this little piece of wool. But first I'm going to weigh it up so you know at home. How much it weighs is important, okay, then let's go there. My scale has a little bit of dust on it, my friends. Okay, let's go there. Okay, let's weigh it here. Let's leave it first on 0 the scale. There it is in 0, okay. And we are going to place it to see how much it weighs. 144g, friends, there you can watch it 143 so that at home they can take it into account, okay. So if you look at it, it is light 144 grams. With the whole dress already complete, okay. The whole dress is already complete. And now I'm going to put the part of the one on the bar, okay. I had been told to put this one. This ribbon is thicker than the one I had contemplated. I'm going to put it on, trying to keep it here in the middle. Is thicker. I had contemplated the one with the short rosetta, look. This is the one I had contemplated. But most of them at home said, not him, who is stronger in color and the thickest. Then I'm going to put this one on him. Because the majority decided to. Then we move down. Look, it's easy, nothing more. That I do have to put it folded, because it is thicker. And I put the space for a smaller one. But then already in a live broadcast, most said we don't want the thick one, okay, you know. Now we are going to continue all around, okay. Now we are going to put the application. Here it is. Remember that I had kept these 3 points together. I'm going to leave it at that, my friends. There it is, look. Then I will complete the whole round. I want to show you, friends, now how the final result has turned out of this beautiful dress. What do you think? Knitted in any size? You thought it was nice, easy, difficult? I don't know, I will be waiting for your comment. And we are going to move on to the last step, but first I wanted to show you what it looks like this. With a pure ribbon. See how beautiful that spot looks. And also, as you can see, was super sencillito there at home. What do you think, friend? Leave me your comment. Here I left this little ribbon that is a little bit long, I know, but since we don't have the baby yet, then we were looking for a baby. Okay, not for me, friends. Maybe one of my sisters can be encouraged. Ha! Ha! But good. The point is that this is how we will be left with option 1. And we are going for option 2. And at home vote option 1 or option 2. Let's go for 2. Now let's go to the application part. I am going to put the application part, or start putting on the upside down side. And more or less, I will take into account that I will stay in the middle of it. And there are 2 options to put it on. In my case it is to leave it in this way. Or leave it like this, and I'm going to leave it like this. With this up. And the little picks for the bottom, okay? Which is going to be like this. And I already have a material or a thread of the same color. And in this case you're going to stick them down here. Or at the top. I do not recommend it all the way up. I recommend that there be a little space left in the part here so that it can go down a little bit. To the best application. We didn't leave it here either. All the way down because in this case the roses would look like they are flying, wouldn't they? So I want the roses to stay on top. And then I'm going to start here. I have already posted. And as I comment, it must be done with the same color of the material because we are going to link. In this part look at. For example, what I'm going to do is try to fix it. I will see if is going to be a little bit close, but I think it's the best thing to do at home. You can observe it. I'm going to do what I'm going to do is go through. And see how it will be secured here. Yes, you can see okay. Then in this way I will be ensuring. Lace or strip as you may call it. There it is, look. Then what interests me is to spend. And ensure it as much as possible. And how it has these spaces, look at. There it will go as if holding. And that's okay, so here I come by. I stop by. And ready. And then you're going to hold it. To your liking. There it is, look. We must try to make sure that the rose is in a pure border. Friends. Here on the other side I'm going to stop by. And we do the same process. And you decide what so fixed you want. Your strip here I've already made myself a knot. Boops, friends. I'm going to have a little bit of patience with him. Now yes. That a knot had formed there. So I'm going to pass it on here. And watch out because it has to be fixed. And it costs more or less. For example, if you want to leave your roses here on the edge, you have to leave them all in the same space. Right then for you to go here. Placing I amigas was somewhere else, right there it is. Look there if you can see how it is the same color. Because it is not possible to see. I am going to complete this and I will be back. And now I show you the final result. While I'm checking at home. Which one do you vote for? With or without lace? What do you think? I will be reading you in the comments. I want to show you friends now. how it has turned out. The end result of this beautiful dress. What do you think of the way it looks? It has been just. The application has nothing left over for me, friends. Here you can see a little bit of the union. What do you think at home? Liked it? It's that easy to leave your baptismal gown behind. What do you think? An excellent dress or gown for your christening. And you can also return it. Your first communion dress. Or, with this I say, goodbye. As usual, I really hope you liked it. If you liked it, support me by sharing on social networks. With your family and friends. In your Facebook groups. And see you in an upcoming video. And remember, subscribe and activate the notification bell. And an excellent recommendation. If you want to have this dress always available, share it on your Facebook profile, or share it as a tribute to your own number from someone very close to whom you know that you will always have it there, available for just one click. I am Mario Rolone. You are on my channel of Everything in Crochet, and I see you in an upcoming video. And thank you very, very much, friends, for accompanying me today. Previous links in the description where the title is. It says more. Click on a world. Shows you what's good with crochet in your hands. Creating